The Winter War by Priscilla Shirer with Gina Detweiler. Chapter 37, Stand Firm. Finn and Ivy had just ventured into the open to see if Xavier and the others had made it to the sky pod when the horrible noise of the Ascalons reached their ears. They quickly hid behind the trees, but the chariots weren't looking for them. They were headed toward the flower that contained the squawking bone breakers. The two warriors watched as the Ascalons launched ice webs and snakes at the flower in an effort to make it give up its prisoners. But their efforts only succeeded in freezing the flower and the birds inside. While the Ascalons were occupied, Ivy and Finn stole back into the woods. "That was close," Ivy said. "Yeah, looks like Xavier made it up there okay. Phase 2 accomplished. Right, now for Phase 3. Find the rest of the Prince warriors who went into hiding when the Ascalons attacked." "So where are they?" Ivy glanced at the snow. She could see tracks, many sets of boot prints leading deeper into the woods. "We could follow these tracks," she said. They set off, following the footprints in the snow until they came to two huge ruts that ran straight across their route. "Ascalons," Finn said. "See how the Ascalon tracks go around the big trees and the boulders?" "Yeah, I see it," said Ivy. "So they must have some sort of radar system that helps them avoid obstacles." "Right." On the other side of the Ascalon tracks were large ice webs hanging between trees, blocking the warriors' way. Ivy pulled out her sword and slashed at the webs, shattering it. The sound awakened an ice snake that had been lying under the snow. It reared up and lunged for Ivy, coiling around her boots. Finn quickly drew his sword and smashed it to pieces. "Thanks," said Ivy. "No problem," said Finn. "Gotta watch out for those snakes. They make a little cracking noise before they strike, like ice cubes in a glass of water." "Great," said Ivy with a sigh. "Hey, if we're prepared and we know how they operate it, it won't be as big a problem." "You're right, I know." They moved as silently as possible, staying with the human tracks and avoiding the Ascalon tracks. Whenever they heard the rumble of an Ascalon, they crouched down or hid behind a tree until it passed by, but they didn't see any other warriors. "Maybe we should call out," Ivy said. "That might alert the Ascalons," said Finn. "We'll never find anyone at this rate." Ivy stopped walking and leaned against a tree. "Where are they?" "Ivy, is that you?" The voice sounded familiar. Ivy and Finn looked all around, wondering where the voice was coming from. "Up here." They looked up to see two young warriors high in the tree. "Collie, Christian," Ivy said. "Yes, it's us." Ivy wasn't sure which one of them was speaking. "Come down," Ivy demanded. The twins scrambled down from the tree. Collie, Ivy was pretty sure it was Collie, spoke first. He was the more talkative one. "What are you doing walking around in the open?" "We need to gather the warriors," Ivy said. "Xavier stole a sky pod, and Levi and Brianna are headed up the mountain to blow up the fortress." "What? Blow up?" said Collie. "What do you mean, stole a sky pod?" asked Christian. "Well, kind of. He's up there now. He's going to let us know when they start attacking." "Who?" "The lava forgers." The twins looked at each other and then back at Ivy. "Lava forgers?" "Yeah, forgers made of lava. Long story. We got rid of the bone breakers, and then Tannen took the guys up there. He's a dragon." "Oh, we saw the dragon," said Collie. "We thought it was an enemy dragon." "No, he's actually a friend of ours," said Ivy with a grin. "How are your friends going to blow up the fortress?" "That's another long story. Right now we need to gather the others," said Finn impatiently. "Do you know where they are?" "No idea," said Collie. "We went up into the tree, and that's the last we saw of anyone." We can take down as many of these webs as possible and clear the way, said Ivy. But the Ascalons, they only see movement, we think, said Ivy. We should be able to avoid them. Oh, said Collie with a grin. Better if we split up, said Finn. You guys go that way, we'll go this way. Watch out for the snakes, said Ivy. Far above them, Levi and Brianna continued on their slow, cautious trek up the icy mountain, searching for the path that was still mostly buried in snow. If it weren't for their breastplates, they would have been totally lost by now. Levi had not spoken 5 words to Brianna other than, watch your step and be careful. He was not in the mood to talk. He had turned his fear and worry for his dad into determination and grit. Occasionally, a huge ball of fire would pass over their heads, forcing them to take cover. Bursts of steam hissed above them, the effects of the hot lava escaping from the crater, hitting the snow and ice. It was an angry sound, Brianna thought, as if the lava itself was filled with fury. But the cloud ringing the mountain helped mask their movements as they got closer to the top. How much farther? Brianna asked. Not far to the lava part, said Levi. Xavier and I didn't go any farther than that the last time, but getting all the way to the rim, not really sure about that. Do you think we can stop for a second? Levi glanced down at her, then shrugged. If you want. Brianna sat down on a small ledge in the ice. Levi sat beside her. Thanks, she said, catching her breath. Sure. Brianna pulled the clay pot from her belt to check on the contents. Levi did the same. All good? Levi asked. Stellar. She smacked her lips together softly. This cold makes my lips so dry I could really use my lip gloss about now. She grinned, but Levi didn't return her smile. She thought for a moment about what to say. I was sad when my mom left, she said finally. It was hard. I felt like I had done something wrong. She waited, but Levi didn't look at her or respond. He was staring at his pot of water. But it wasn't because of me or my sisters. It wasn't anyone's fault. Bad things happen sometimes. We don't always know why. We're supposed to help each other through these things. But you won't let anyone help you. How can you help me? Levi asked. Can you make my father better? No, said Brianna. But I can tell you that I'm your friend. I'm here for you. We all are. And Ruach especially. And if you want to cry or scream, I'll do that with you. Only I wouldn't recommend screaming right now. Levi cracked a smile. I keep thinking that if I can take down that fortress, my dad'll get better. The winter will be gone and everything will go back to the way it was. But now I'm wondering, what if that doesn't happen? What if we destroy the fortress and it's still winter and Nameless gets my dad? Nameless? Who's that? Levi let out a breath. This guy I met in the in-between. Turns out he's the one we were smelling. You know, that dead worm smell? The empty? Brianna murmured. Right, the empty. Anyway, this guy said he was a king who had lost his kingdom and all his power. His crown was all rusted and his robe was all ripped. I asked him his name and he said to call him Nameless. But I think I know his real name. He paused, then said in a low whisper, It's Death. Brianna's face went still. Death? Yeah. Wow. And he comes with the winter and a Horatoss? Yes, I guess. Brianna was silent for a while. You know, in the winter, the trees and the grass and everything look dead, but they aren't. They come back to life again. Levi looked at her. What are you saying? I'm saying that what might look like death to you and me really isn't. Not in a Hortos, anyway. Levi's eyes brightened for a moment. Yeah, maybe. He looked up the mountain to where they were headed. My dad told me the battle is already won. I just don't know if I really believe that. Well, I believe it, Brianna said. We just might not know what victory looks like yet. In this battle, or any of them. But whatever happens, Levi, I'm right here with you, like always. Levi looked at her and cracked a smile. Thanks. His gaze wandered to the sky pod. Guess we need to keep going then, don't we? Brianna nodded and stood up, brushing snow off her clothes. I'm ready when you are.